Hey Gator Time people, I hope you're at home practicing your cursive, or at least you've dedicated some time to it. As you can see, I started back over with the letter A. It's always good to keep it simple. So as the camera pulls away, I'm going to talk a little bit today about upping your pen game. Um, I know some of you we've talked about fountain pens together, but many of you we have not. So since you're going to be at home until April the 10th, which is my birthday by the way, I thought that we would talk a little bit about fountain pens and the ones I have in my collection. So first up, this is a Pilot Metropolitan. This is a Japanese made pen, and if you went on Amazon today, you could buy this pen for $17.99. It comes anywhere from an extra fine all the way up to a broad point. This is an excellently made pen. I'm running this one currently off of a cartridge, not the converter. So it's got this little mechanism here. And I'm just running black ink through it. I've had this thing for a little bit over a month, and it is just a beautiful, well-made pen that I cannot believe only cost $18. But it's a great pen. So this is the Pilot Metropolitan. Now, a pen I've had a little bit longer. This is a German made. This is the Kaweco Sport Classic. It's what's termed as a pocket fountain pen. So it comes apart, and then when you post the cap, you've got a full-size pen. And of course, if you have a smaller hand, um, then it might be a better pen for you. Now, the nib for this is actually made in Japan, and the Japanese like really fine nibs. So even though this one's listed as a medium, to me it writes more like a fine. It's a great little pen, very portable. It's like having a tube of chapstick in your pocket so that you can write with. Now this pen right here is solid aluminum. This was made by the Muji company. I picked it up when we were in New York City over spring break. Um, it's a very well-made pen. It's very sleek. It's got a great weight to it. Again, it's a Japanese-made nib, so it writes very, very fine. The Japanese like fine writing instruments. I have no complaints with this pen. It's a little bit pricier. It's $20 on Amazon. Is it worth it? Absolutely. For $20, this thing, it'll probably outlast me. The next two pens I'm going to talk about are Schaefer's and talk about long lasting. I've had both of these pens for longer than 20 years. It's also the cheapest pen in our lineup today. These are $11.95 on Amazon. This one's a medium point, and this one is a broad italic, which makes a very, very thick line. Um, Both quality pens, they run off cartridges. Like I said, they've lasted an extremely long time. Now, I thought I'd cover some vintage pens. So these are pens that you would have to go to eBay, or you would have to go to an antique store or someplace that dealt specifically in fountain pens to get these. The first one is my favorite fountain pen I own. This is the Parker 21. This is just a really well-made pen. They were manufactured from the late 50s all the way, I believe, until the early 90s, long after fountain pens and got out of fashion. This pen just writes exceptionally well. It's what's called a hooded nib fountain pen, so you can see only like just the tip of the nib is visible. The ink flow is great. The weight and the shape are excellent. By far, that's my favorite pen. They start at about $9.95 and just go up from there on eBay, but you want to be sure that you get it from a really reputable pen person. Otherwise, you might end up with something that's cracked or it's just junk because somebody put the wrong ink in it. The last pen I'm going to talk about is the most expensive and perhaps the most beautiful pen I own. This is an Esterbrook Model J. It's also the oldest pen in my collection. It's what's called a lever fill. So you actually pull this little lever and it sucks the pen, the ink, up out of a bottle and into the pen. You need to make sure for certain this comes from a very reputable pen dealer. I got this off eBay. They start at about $38.50 and they go up from there. This is the pen I was writing with at the start of the video. It's also the finest point pen, and when I write with it, it's almost like it's cutting into the paper. It's like writing with a razor blade. Now, on some papers, it writes excellent. On other papers, it's far too, I wouldn't use the word scratchy, but sharp, to be sure. And again, it's made out of a material called celluloid, which predates plastic. It's also one of the reasons it's got kind of this interesting ruby jeweled finish. But this is an Esterbrook Model J. So those are just a few of the pens that I use in my daily writing habit. And again, you don't need a fountain pen to have beautiful handwriting. Does it help? Absolutely. It also opens up a wide range of what your writing colors and styles can look like. So I encourage you, go on Instagram, hashtag fountain pens, go on Amazon, look at fountain pens, go on eBay, vintage fountain pens. Find something that appeals to you. Next time that we're all in class together, you guys are more than welcome to try these pens out and see which one you like in your hand, because it's quite a different thing to see something online than to actually use it. Until then, guys, keep practicing your cursive. Hope to see you soon. Bye.